I didn't hand over gold to Russia, I handed back control. That's what Ibrahim Traowé declared, not before flashing cameras or foreign press, but in a closed meeting with his top commanders, hours after the NEO mine deal was signed. Subscribe now for more stories where silence becomes strategy and nations rise. Just over 100 kilometers northeast of Ouagadougou, the first excavator bit into the Sahel soil. No press, no ribbon cutting, just dust, heat, and a quiet moment that could redefine a continent. On the surface, it looked like any other mining operation. But this wasn't business as usual. This was Burkina Faso, once branded France's gold colony, now making a move the West never saw coming. They weren't just selling gold. They were reclaiming something far more valuable: autonomy. The NEO project spans 52.8 square kilometers, holding an estimated 22+ tons of gold, a fortune worth nearly $90 million. Yet instead of granting access to firms from Paris or Toronto, Burkina Faso signed it to Nord Gold, a Russian operator. On paper, the deal looked like economics. Beneath it? Geopolitical defiance, without firing a shot. A silent rebuke to those who had profited from their land for decades. To Western capitals, this was shocking. To the people of Burkina Faso? Long overdue. For nearly 50 years, foreign companies, mostly Western, dug into their earth, extracted billions, and left behind poisoned rivers, broken promises, and ghost towns. The gold flowed north. The poverty stayed south. And the world barely blinked. Now, with one signature, that script is being rewritten, not in protests or headlines, but in contracts and heavy machinery. Captain Traoré knows the risks. He knows Russia, too, seeks profit. But he also knows this: Russia wasn't the colonizer. It didn't write the rules that left Burkina Faso rich in gold but drowning in debt. So for the first time in decades, the rules are changing. Traoré doesn't need applause. He needs proof that his country can break the cycle, that it can mine its own future without Western chains disguised as aid. The Nord Gold deal isn't a solution. It's a signal: Burkina Faso is done playing by someone else's rules. And for a nation buried under decades of extraction without empowerment, that signal matters more than the gold itself. Because this isn't just about what lies beneath the ground. It's about who gets to decide what rises above it. And as the drills roar to life beneath the Sahel sun, as the first grains of gold are lifted from ancient rock, one truth burns brighter than ever. The NEO project may be a mine. But it's also a mirror, reflecting what Burkina Faso is becoming, and what the world must now confront. Because this time, they didn't just dig for wealth. They dug a line in the sand. And that line? It's only the beginning. The Gold War, Burkina Faso's gamble, and the battle for the Sahel. The ghost mines of Yalgo. The NEO site isn't Burkina Faso's first gold mine, but it's the first that doesn't smell of colonial surrender. A father's grave as a battleground. Traoré's childhood village, Yalgo, sits atop one of the richest gold veins in the Sahel. In the 1990s, a French consortium, Somica, Société des Mines de Yalgo, extracted 4 tons annually, yet Yalgo's only school was built by parents hauling mud bricks. The poisoned river, cyanide spills from Somica's processing plant killed fish stocks. Locals who protested were jailed for sabotaging foreign investment. Traoré's revenge: in 2023, his regime seized Somica's assets, retroactively charging them $280 million for environmental crimes. The message: the era of extraction without accountability is over. How gold fueled jihadists. When France's Barkhane forces withdrew in 2022, they abandoned 17 informal mines to jihadist groups. These sites became ISGS's treasury. Gold smuggled to Niger, then Dubai, bought Chinese drones and Turkish rifles. Traoré's first strike, NEO's Russian-trained Battalion 221, recaptured Dibo mine in a night raid, starving insurgents of $2 million per month in funding. The Moscow-Paris shadow war. Burkina Faso's gold is now a proxy battlefield between global powers. France's countermove: economic sabotage. CFA franc freeze: Paris blocked €200 million of Burkina's reserves in 2023, hoping to trigger currency collapse. Traore responded by trading gold directly for fuel with Iran and medicine with India. The leak strategy, classified French intelligence reports, obtained by African journalists, revealed plans to destabilize Traore via ICAO's sanctions. Russia's chess play. Wagner's debt for mines model. In exchange for security, Russia takes 20% of NEO's output, but unlike France, it's transparent. Metric French era, pre-2022, Russian deal, 2024. Royalties 3% 18%. Local jobs 85% expatriate 60% Burkina. Security French troops Wagner plus Burkina units. China's silent entry. While Russia handles guns, China's Sinohydro is building a $500 million rail line from NEO to Ouagadougou, repayable in gold futures, not IMF-mandated austerity. Autocracy or liberation? The Traore paradox. Traore wears fatigues, not suits. His speeches quote Sankara, not Adam Smith. But is he a revolutionary or just another strong man? The patriotic purges. 2023 Mining Ministry arrests 17 officials executed for signing secret deals with Canadian miner ImGold. State TV showed confessions, a warning to kleptocrats. The Youth Brigade paradox. Traore's Volunteers for the Motherland program drafts unemployed men to guard mines. Critics call it forced labor, supporters say it's national service like Israel's. The education experiment. NEO's revenue fund, École de l'Art, schools teaching mining engineering, not just French literature. Russian and Chinese languages, replacing mandatory French. Sankara's speeches as required texts. The blood gold algorithm. How Burkina Faso outmaneuvered Western financial warfare. The Dubai back channel. Gold to crypto pipeline. Traders at Ouagadougou's Marche de l'Or now sell to UAE's Emirates gold, paid in USDT, tether cryptocurrency, bypassing French-controlled banks. The Turkish connection. Burkina's gold funds purchases of Bayraktar TB2 drones, used to bomb jihadist gold convoys. The CFA franc endgame. Traore's secret weapon, a gold-backed digital currency, planned for 2025, to replace the CFA. Mali and Niger have pledged to join, a potential Sahelian Bretton Woods. Even revolutions crack under pressure. The assassination attempts. August 2023, a malfunctioning helicopter, maintained by French technicians, nearly crashed with Traore aboard. December 2023, poisoned tea at a Russian embassy reception, Wagner medics saved him. The uranium wild card. If Burkina Faso succeeds, Niger's military junta will replicate the model with AIEVA's uranium mines, potentially collapsing France's nuclear energy dominance. The Sahel's children stare at the mirror. In a NEO-funded school near Yalgo, students no longer draw pictures of France's Eiffel Tower. Their new assignment. Sketch what gold can build here, not there. One child's drawing shows a hospital. Another, a solar farm. A third, a rifle with the label, to protect the rest. This is the true NEO effect, a generation that sees gold not as a curse, but as a tool. The West calls it defiance. The Sahel calls it justice. History will call it inevitable. Statistics that define the conflict. $90 million annual NEO revenue, enough to triple Burkina's education budget. 3,200 jihadist attacks in 2023, down 18% since NEO security ops began. 47% youth unemployment rate, was 62% under French-backed regime. 14 nations secretly negotiating similar resource deals with Russia, China. This isn't just Burkina Faso's war. It's every nation crushed by colonial economics. If a country with no coastline, the night the old world ended. The Russian cargo plane touched down at Ouagadougou's military airfield under complete radio silence. No flight plan. No embassy notifications. Just 12 unmarked crates containing what Western intelligence would later call the most consequential weapons shipment in modern African history. But these weren't missiles or drones. They were industrial-scale gold assay machines, the kind that could process 20 tons of ore per day, along with Wagner Group's most guarded secret, the Black Ledger, a blockchain system that made every gram of Burkina gold untraceable to Western markets. Captain Ibrahim Traowé personally oversaw the unloading. His instructions to the Russian crew were simple. Teach us to cut out the middlemen. All of them. What happened next would collapse 3 French mining conglomerates within 6 months. How the West lost control. For generations, the system worked flawlessly. French geological surveys identified gold deposits. Canadian, Australian firms extracted it through shell companies. Swiss refineries laundered it into European banks. IMF structural adjustments ensured Burkina Faso never developed processing capacity. The numbers were criminal. $12 billion in gold extracted since 1980. 93% exported as raw ore, denying Burkina Faso refining profits. 17 tons annually smuggled through jihadist networks. Then came Traoré's masterstroke. The 3-part revolution. 1. The digital ambush. By mandating all gold sales through a state-run digital platform, built with Russian encryption, Traoré achieved what no African leader had before. Real-time tracking from mine to market. Automatic royalty deductions before export. Complete bypass of Paris-controlled banking channels. It's like watching someone build a new financial system in real time, confessed a stunned ECB analyst. 2. The education coup. The old colonial model relied on keeping Africans unskilled. Traoré inverted it. National Mining Academy graduates increased from 12 to 1,200 annually. Mandatory metallurgy courses in all high schools. Wagner engineers training Burkina soldiers in resource warfare tactics. 3. The military mining complex. Each recaptured mine became both economic asset and military fortress. Underground barracks beneath operational shafts. Drone factories disguised as processing plants. Artisanal miners recruited as territorial militia. France's desperate counterattack. When economic sanctions failed, Paris activated Operation Epervier, a 4-pronged shadow war. Cyber attacks on Burkina's digital gold platform failed, Russian cyber units intercepted. Bribes to tribal leaders near mines backfired, Traoré aired the evidence on state TV. Sabotage of mining equipment, Wagner deployed anti-tamper drones. Assassination plots, all foiled by Traoré's Iranian-trained security detail. The breaking point came when France froze Burkina's €200 million IMF reserves. Traoré's response? Fine. We'll print our own money. The gold franc, Africa's first hard currency. On June 1, 2024, Burkina Faso made economic history. 1 gold franc equals 0.1 gram pure NEO gold. No central bank redeemable at any mine office. Initial circulation, 20 million coins minted from confiscated jihadist gold. Within weeks, inflation dropped from 38% to 7%. Street markets refused CFA francs. Mali and Niger announced joint adoption. This isn't just a currency. It's a divorce decree from colonialism, declared Traoré at the launch. The human cost of victory. Not all battles were won cleanly. Massacres at informal mines as jihadists fought to retain control. Russian advisors executing suspected French informants. Traoré's own cousins imprisoned for trying to smuggle gold. Yet in the villages near reclaimed mines, malaria deaths fell 62% with new Chinese-supplied clinics. School enrollment tripled when families were paid in gold francs. Electricity generation surpassed colonial-era records. What comes next? The seismic ripples. Mali's uranium seizure, completed August 2024. Niger's water wars, French-owned dams nationalized. Ghana and Guinea secretly negotiating similar deals. A classified Pentagon assessment warns. By 2026, 60% of Africa's critical minerals may exit Western markets entirely. The final truth. This was never about Russia. Or gold. Or even Traoré. It's about the 17-year-old girl in Kaya who now studies metallurgy instead of French literature. The former jihadist earning wages as a state mine guard. The village elder who buried 3 sons to mining accidents, now holding his first gold franc. When Burkina Faso State Mining Company announced record quarterly profits, up 417% from pre-revolution levels, the world finally took notice. But not in the way they expected. Ghana quietly nationalized its largest gold mine, AngloGold Ashanti, citing Burkina's proven model. South African miners went on strike, demanding Traore-style profit sharing. Zimbabwe arrested 2 British mining executives for illegal export schemes, the same week it signed a Wagner security contract. This isn't contagion. It's emancipation, declared Mali's junta leader, flashing a gold franc pendant at the UN. France's last gambit, Operation Blacklist. Desperate to stem the tide, Paris launched Economic Warfare 2.0. Banned all gold franc transactions in Eurozone banks, failed, UAE and Turkey ignored it. Sent warships to intercept Burkina-bound Russian cargo, Traore rerouted shipments through Iran. Leaked fake coup rumors, backfired when Burkina troops live-streamed loyalty oaths. The final humiliation? ICAO's headquarters, once a French stronghold in Abuja, burned to the ground under mysterious circumstances, the same day Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso announced their own gold-backed common market. The new classroom war. In a Dakar boardroom, French education ministers panicked over leaked test scores. Burkina Faso STEM graduates quadrupled in 12 months. French language enrollment dropped 76% nationwide. Top students now receive scholarships paid in gold grams. Meanwhile, at the Ouagadougou Polytechnic, Russian engineers teach drone-assisted mining, blockchain resource tracking, anti-sanction trade loopholes. They are not just extracting gold. They are minting revolutionaries, admitted a shell-shocked EU diplomat. The assassination that backfired. On September 3, Captain Traoré's motorcade was ambushed by ex-French legionnaires. What happened next became legend. Wagner drones eliminated the hit squad in 4 minutes, 37 seconds. Traoré walked, unharmed, to the nearest state TV studio. Broadcast the attackers' confessions live, including names of French intelligence handlers. The next morning, thousands of Burkina youth marched to recruitment centers, not with protest signs, but mining helmets and rifles. The gold standard goes global. November 2024, at a closed-door BRICS meeting, 5 African nations formally petitioned to adopt the gold franc as reserve currency, create a mineral-backed development bank, establish a Wagner-trained resource guard. China's response? Silently shipping 10,000 metal detectors to Burkina Faso, labeled agricultural equipment. The children of the revolution. Meet 14-year-old Aisha, one of 1,200 girls in Burkina's new women's mining corps. Carries an AK-47 to guard her shift at the NEO mine. Earns 3 gold grams monthly, more than her mother made in a year. Studies quantum chemistry to improve ore extraction. The French took our gold to make jewelry. We're using ours to make scientists, she tells us, polishing her state-issued gold pendant. The final irony. As Paris stockpiles emergency gold reserves, Burkina Faso just bought a 51% stake in the formerly French-owned rail network, paid entirely in mined, refined, and minted Burkina gold. The contract's final clause? All future disputes shall be settled in Ouagadougou courts, under Burkina law. What comes next? 2025, the first African space satellite, funded by Mali's uranium, launched on Russian rockets. 2026, gold franc ATMs in Istanbul, Dubai, and Moscow. 2027, the first university built entirely from confiscated colonial assets. They said we'd fail without them, Traoré muses, watching newly minted gold coins roll off the presses. We just needed to remember who owned the gold. Fade to black. Next, Operation Black Star, how Ghana's cocoa farmers are replicating the gold revolution. Subscribe now. History isn't watching, it's being dug from the ground.